Hey folks, thanks for tuning in once again. This time I want to talk to you about mess kits and how to cook with them. Um, but more importantly, just get some basic ideas thrown at you. This is for your um emergency patriotic gear, last minute kind of things, you know, when the balloon goes up and it's time for the dancing music to start, if you get my drift. Okay, going from left to right, this is my old Boy Scout camping, my old Boy Scout mess kit. This is, I don't know if it'll come up, if you can read that. Yeah, this is a actual surplus, military surplus, USGI mess kit. And lastly, you have a canteen cup, and a new style canteen cup stove, and a lid. Somebody who, he's kind of famous, David Canterbury, or Dave Canterbury. He was on this TV show called Dual Survival with Cody Lundeen. I mentioned Cody in my What is a Bob video. He authored several books. But anyways, Dave, he is in Southern Ohio, and he has a survival school, Pathfinder school. The kits that Dave sells, it's not USGI, but it can work. So this is a canteen cup lid. I wouldn't say it's an improvement from my first canteen cup lid, but it's more space friendly. It's not as high, but I digress. And with that, you can use one of these. This is a alcohol stove. It's not the Trangia, but it's a import knockoff, but I digress. So let's take a dive into these, and I'll show you how they were originally set up. Alrighty, let's starting off with the Boy Scout one. As you can see, I've had this for a number of years. This is from the 1980s. It's not the best in the world for a mess kit, but it suffices, and I'll show you why. Now, I don't know what the newer ones look like today, but there is a mess kit that you can find at Walmart for, I think, $7-8 or something like that. You get yourself a plate, a little soup pot, and a little cup. Yeah, I've used this a couple of times. And I didn't clean it less. Well, that's just old organic type stuff, like tree pollen. But anyways, this is aluminum. I ain't gonna bend it, but trust me, it's aluminum. One thing I want to show you guys. Bear with me here. I'm trying to keep this all in frame. And I'm going to show you on, it's a similar setup for the USGI that nobody really talks about. Now, the original mess kits that was developed for the Boy Scouts back in the early 1900s, you really did cook with them, but they could also be used in this fashion as well. See? Basically, it was set up to be where, shoot, hang on, let me adjust the camera. Okay, let me try and do this reaching around. So basically, you either have your entree here and your sides here, and in this is where you keep your like little soup pot, or you would cook, heat up some hot chocolate over the campfire with this. And then this is your drinking cup, and it also has gradients in it, so you can measure with it as well. This is how a couple of times I used this in Boy Scouts, because there was a mess hall or an actual mess tent where they did all the cooking, and they just, oops, throw your stuff in, and that was it. You go down to your campsite with your eating utensils in hand and sit down and munch away. Now this I pulled out of my inch bag, so I forgot what's all in it. Okay, I got salt, pepper, my eating utensils, which I wrapped in paper towels so they didn't make a lot of noise, some foil. Okay, now, this is made out of stainless steel. Let me bring the camera down a little bit. There we go. Now this is made out of stainless steel. When was this manufactured? 1982. Alright. Same thing, same rules apply. Ever watch, during World War II, there was a series of movies for the U.S. military. Here we go. This is how it's set up. You have your main dish and you have your two sides, but you can also use this as a plate. Say, watch any old movie reels from during World War II, especially the Pacific. I know I've seen it for the Pacific Theater. You had GIs have their mess kits out like this. There's even a cartoon, Private Snafu, talking about in the Pacific about sanitation, how you have to clean, make sure these things are clean, otherwise, because this is stainless steel, you can use this as an actual frying pan. However, because it's a thin, I don't want to damage this because these are getting harder and harder to find. You can find the Chinese imports of these, and it's an even cheaper or cheaper grade of stainless steel. But anyways, excuse me. You can actually use this to fry things in with, and there are videos on YouTube. Or on YouTube that you can watch, and you can see how it's done. You can cook eggs, bacon, any number of things. I've seen people cook like a small rabbit in this. That's what this can do. Now, lastly, and if you are in a emergency, I have to choose my words very carefully. If you are in an emergency patriotic organization, let's just say you are out in the woods protecting freedoms, this is something I might recommend more often, because if you need a hot meal and it's getting kind of cold out, you can use this to make soups or stews or what have you. Hang on, let me stop this for a second. I just wanted to just kind of set this up as I would always have it. As you can see, you have your canteen cup on top of the stove, and underneath, let's move this down, and right there's your alcohol stove. It fits nicely. It's about, I'd say, a good inch and a half, 2 inches from the top here. So it spreads the heat evenly through the holes in the canteen cup stove. But anyways, what you can do also is put gradients in here. Now this here will hold at least 2 cups of water. And with that, you can add, say, You can add some rice to it, to your water, and when it's almost done, use your lid to kind of help boil the rice. And while that's cooking, throw in one of these, bouillon cube. There's like 6 large bouillon cubes in this. You can use whatever. Or if you want to just boil water, keep things simple, you can heat up your freeze-dried meals. These are expensive, but rice and bouillon cubes are incredibly inexpensive. Alright, so with rice you do have protein, you have some carbs. If you have some freeze-dried, not freeze-dried, but dehydrated vegetables that you find in the cooking section. Even Dave Canterbury even has some cooking videos, and there are other videos on YouTube that can show what kind of different meals you can make. I've seen people make shrimp and andouille, which is a Cajun sausage, gumbo, spaghetti and meatballs, wow, all kinds of stuff. And if you fill this up with a solid, or like a stew, if you will, that's, oh my God, that's pretty hefty. I mean, that's almost like filling up this plate, if you will, of food. So, and if you have just this setup, you can do a lot. Trust me. Now, granted, some people will say, well, you're getting kind of sick and tired of stews and what have you. Yeah, but if you're hungry, you'll eat it. Granted, although you will get burned out if you're eating the same kind of stuff every day, but the mission comes first and foremost. You know, this ain't no luxury cruise, if you will. So, I'm going to try and cut it off here because I'm getting long-winded. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe. And if you have any constructive criticism, please list it below. Give a shout out to the R Syndicate. Address is also in the description. Big John of the PreparedMind channel, Kaz over at the Fourth Dimension channel, OOMAN of the OOMAN channel, and Detroit Preppin. Detroit! Also Vaughn over at Backcountry Preps. Give a shout out to those guys. You can find all of us here at the R Syndicate and other platforms as well. You will also find links to my Brtighteon, Patreon, and if I have any others listed, I will list them because those are the only 2 or 3 I remember off the top of my head. Okay, there you go. Something to think about. You know, you can either go with the USGI mess kit, the Boy Scout mess kit, or the modern day equivalent, or simple, compact, and it fits all within on your person at any given time. The simple canteen cup, stew pot, and what have you. It's a canteen cup / stew pot, and all in one. So there you go. Have a good one, and God bless.